Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of 100 Yards Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host and producer this afternoon, Logan Landers, and joining me, as always, to talk about a great NFL draft prospect coming into the year 2024. We'll talk about Chop Robinson, defensive end out of Penn State with the Nittany Lions. As always, help me out, Mr. Football, Vincent Turner. How you doing, Vincent?
Hey Logan, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, sir. Doing great. Talking about a great player up on the screen here. Going to talk about his strengths, what all he's good at, and what we like about the young man. But before we get into it, guys, if you enjoyed the episode, give us a like, follow, share, subscribe on our social media platforms, being Facebook and YouTube, the main two. And you can also check out our podcast, thanks to the Believe Podcast Network. That's going to be on all major podcast streaming platforms once again each and every single week. Well, Vincent, let's get into it. Talking about Chop Robinson, I will kick things off with this young man coming in 6'3", 250 pounds, out of Maryland, helping out there in Penn State. Now, I mentioned Maryland. He started his career off at Maryland there with the Terrapins in 2021. Only was there for just a little bit, though, before he transferred over to Penn State, helping out the Nittany Lions. And looking at what he's done throughout his career, I would say this past season, 2023, was kind of his breakout year. The one where you looked at it and saw this guy come to the center of the screen. And I say that you look at his stats. He had 15 tackles on the year, 3 of those being assisted. He also had a pass defended, knockdown. But the thing that people are going to look at is he had 4 sacks and also 2 forced fumbles on the year. Now, looking at Chop Robinson, and also just a tremendous name, a great moniker he's been given. When you watch him play, Vincent, he's got, it feels like, unlimited energy. I mean, you see him on the screen. He's got a nice lean frame. He's got energy for days. He's going to always be rushing to get past that offensive guard at no matter the cost, and he doesn't get tired. I mentioned he's powerful. He's got good point of contact strength. He's got those big legs, also can help you out. And when I see speed on this guy, it is tremendous. You see that first step he has coming off the line, and it's hard for people to get around him. He might, like I said, I just read off the stats. They might not be eye popping, but the stats don't always tell the story. And this guy is a disruptor. He's going to get to the quarterback. He's going to get in the backfield, get to that running back with some tremendous speed and power as well. Can't forget that. He's got good leverage also. He's got great agility also for a guy his size. He's got a good twitch to him. That means he's got good quick feet as well. He can get through blockers no matter what. And just a versatile guy when he's on the edge, Vincent. He's got great run stopping ability, can also help out with the pass as well. And someone who, maybe coming into the season, a lot of people maybe weren't aware of, in the edge rush position. Because we know that Penn State has had a lot of really good edge rushers in the past few years, like Arnold Ebiketie a couple of years ago. But this guy, Chop Robinson, Vincent, he has, I think, the ability to be one of the better defensive ends in this draft, and a guy who is kind of flying under the radar, surprisingly, but someone who is a tremendous pass rusher first and foremost, can also help with the run. And overall, man, just someone who you don't want to see if you're the opposing offensive line, because this guy, Chop Robinson, will eat you for lunch and still have more and more hunger for more. Because this guy is just full of talent and energy, and he made his mark at Penn State. Excited to see what he's going to do at the NFL level. Your thoughts on the young man coming out of Penn State with the Nittany Lions?
When you talk about him, and I like what you just said about him, the guy, the work ethic, as him playing defensive end in Maryland and Penn State, it's relentless. And then I look at him, the explosive first step, and he reminds me a lot of the gentleman who just got voted into the Hall of Fame this past weekend, Dwight Feeney. Kind of put you in the mind of Dwight Feeney, who had that outstanding career with the Indianapolis Colts and then came and played with the Atlanta Falcons. Dwight Feeney had that explosive first step. Then all the great pass rushes, and I want to say slash linebackers that came into this league and has had great careers in rushing the passer. You got to put them in the mind of Robert Mathis, who's Dwight Feeney's partner on the other side for the Indianapolis Colts. Then a Chuck Smith, who played here locally with the Atlanta Falcons out of the University of Tennessee. Then a Terrell Suggs that was with the Baltimore Ravens by way of Arizona State. And then the late, great Derek Thomas, who had an explosive first step. That's what I see in this man, Mr. Chop Robinson. And then, of course, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, Logan. The two players that remind me the most of Mr. DeMarcus Lawrence right now is playing with the Dallas Cowboys, but I think he's a more explosive player. And then another player, the Hall of Famer DeMarcus Ware. Chop Robinson has all the qualities I just mentioned, all these great players who were great pass rushers from the linebacker position and the edge. Chop Robinson is going to be a player at the next level in the National Football League.
Yes, sir. Excited to see where this young man's going to go. We also have a comment here from Mr. Ken Lewis who's asking, where do you think he will be drafted? And I'll start things off, Vincent, and kick it on over to you. But I think that when I look at Chop Robinson, I'm looking at, all the teams. Obviously, free agency hasn't happened yet. So I think that he could be a guy who goes potentially late first round, maybe early second if he falls a little bit, just depending on how it goes. But looking at some teams that just need a little bit of edge work, if I'm thinking late first round, maybe a team like the Houston Texans who have pick number 23. Could you imagine him and Will Anderson Jr. being side by side pretty much on the edge? That would be a lethal combination potentially. I'm just saying. Another team, the Green Bay Packers, who shocked a lot of people this year, made a really good playoff run. Jordan Love, really solid quarterback. You can help out the defense at all the ways you can by getting this young guy. And a team that we know really well here that's been battling the Atlanta Falcons for many, many years now, that's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They got pick number 26. We know they got a lot going on, a lot of guys who might come back, who might not come back. So I think that regardless if they need some help on defense, I think Chop Robinson could be a very big addition. Do you have any teams in mind where you think this young man could go?
The 2024 NFL Combine is coming up next week, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, Chop Robinson, and my favorite band back in the 70s, early 80s was Midnight Star, and they had a song called Freakazoid. If Mr. Robinson go up there to the Combine and put them Freakazoid abilities on display, because there's rumors are at his size, 6'3", 250, he's going to break off a 4'4", 40. Then he browse jump 10'7". That's what he's done at that size. Then he can bench press over 400 pounds. If he goes and does that and becomes the darling of the Combine, Logan, I could see him going high in the top 10, and I could see him being on the Atlanta Falcons radar screen.
Ooh, that would – and look, we've documented over the years the struggles for the Falcons in terms of getting to the quarterback. I think it was 2021 or 2 where they had 3 sacks the whole season. They have been getting better. They had a few good guys this past season. But I think that if you can add more talent to that defensive line, if they can get a guy like a Chop Robinson, because we know the Falcons are getting a brand new, they've already got a brand new coaching scheme and coaching staff with Raheem Morris and company. That might be a really good addition there. Ken checks in once again, and he says he wants him on the Eagles. I mean, if you pair him, Vincent, with all the great Georgia talent they've added over the years, I mean, we know Philadelphia's got a bright future. And if it wasn't for the late season collapse they had, I mean, they've got the talent to compete for the next 5-10 years as long as everything goes according to plan that they want. And I think Chop Robinson would be a great pickup for the Eagles, the Falcons, any other teams we mentioned, the Packers, Texans. But I think he's going to be a great player. What are your final thoughts on the young man we see up on the screen here, though?
Well, I can see the Eagles because this week there's rumors out that they're going to let Hassan Reddick go because of the contract situation. So that'll be a perfect fit. And think about this. Obviously, Ken might be Mr. Lewis, thank you for commenting on here on one of the y'all. Obviously, he's a Penn State fan, so he's seeing Mr. Chop Robinson play a lot of football. I think that'll be an excellent addition for the Philadelphia Eagles based on the fact Jalen Carter, the outstanding talent defensive tackle, is going to be in his second year. Jordan Davis somewhat took a step back, another first round out of Georgia, but he's got some talent. Then Nolan Smith, man, I can see that becoming a real strong young offensive line in the NFC East if the Eagles are able to attain Mr. Chop Robinson.
Yes, sir. Well said. And, of course, Ken Lewis, we appreciate the comment. And guys, we also want to hear from the rest of y'all as well. Put in the comments. Who do you think that? Where do you think Chop Robinson will go? What team do you think will draft him? Will he go early first round, late first round? Will he drop to the second, or do you have him going even later in the draft? We want to hear it though in our comments, as we mentioned on Facebook and YouTube. And as always, Mr. Football, Vincent Turner, it's a pleasure talking this NFL draft prospect with you. I've been your host, producer, Logan Landers. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. We'll talk to you guys again on